begins with an honest look in the mirror. No matter where you live, what you do, or how high you rise, time is given out in equal measure. So if the problem isn't the amount of time, what is it? Here's the secret. The real enemy isn't time, it's waste. Waste of what? Focus, energy, intention. I call it leakage. Not the dramatic kind that grabs your attention, but the quiet, subtle kind that steals minutes from the edges of your days until the hours are gone and you wonder where they went. Distraction. Now there's a thief that never sleeps. You sit down to work, but the phone buzzes. Someone calls your name, or your mind drifts off to something else. Before you know it, 15 minutes have slipped through your fingers. Multiply that by a week, a month, a year, and you start to see how dreams are built or lost. Then there's indecision. Time gets eaten up by hesitancy. Not making a choice is a choice. Think about it. Ever spent half an hour circling the same problem, but made no decision? That's not progress. That's time walking out the back door. And of course, disorder. When life gets chaotic, things pile up, papers on the desk, emails in the inbox, promises half kept. The mind gets cloudy. Action slows down. Disorder doesn't just cost you productivity, it costs you peace. So if you want to guard your time, don't start by blaming the clock. Start by asking, where does my time really go? What's slipping away quietly while I'm not looking? What are the little leaks in my bucket? Awareness is the first line of defense. Once you see where the leaks are, you can start to patch them. It's not about becoming a time tyrant or squeezing every drop out of every second. It's about recognizing that time is precious, and just like anything valuable, it needs protection. I once knew a man who complained he never had enough time to read, yet every night spent an hour watching television he barely enjoyed. Was it really about time? Or was it about what was quietly draining it away? Ask yourself, what are the distractions I let in? Where do I let indecision take over? Where am I tolerating disorder that could be put in order? The difference between a good day and a wasted one often comes down to those quiet moments of leakage. So, guarding time begins with vigilance. You have to catch the leaks, name them, and decide they don't belong. Only then can you start to reclaim the hours you already have. And that's the beginning of mastering time, even when your schedule is chaotic. The real enemy isn't time, it's waste. If you can see that, you're ready for the next step. Now, how can you make this work in your own life? If you want to stop the leaks, you've got to know what you're protecting. You've heard it said, if everything is important, nothing is important. That's the trap. Modern life wants you to believe every request, every message, every shiny opportunity matters just as much as the next. But here's the truth. Some things matter most. The rest is noise. Here's what changed the game for me. Defining the essentials. Not someday, not in theory, but right now in writing. Sit down, quiet the noise, and write down your top 3 priorities for the week. Not 30, not 13, 3. What are the 3 results, if accomplished, would move your life forward the most right now? You might say, but Jim, everything is on fire. My schedule is a mess. People are pulling me in every direction. That's exactly when you need clarity the most. Chaos is loud, but clarity, even just a little, cuts through the noise like a sharp knife. Think about this. The world will hand you its to-do list if you don't hand it yours. So every week, carve out a few quiet minutes, Sunday evening, early Monday morning, whenever you can think straight. Ask yourself, what really matters this week? What must not get lost in the shuffle? write them down. Keep them in your wallet, on your desk, or right in your pocket. Make them visible. Every time another demand comes knocking, measure it against your top 3. If it doesn't move you closer to those priorities, you have permission to say no. Not because you're rude, but because you're focused. You see, when you know what's essential, saying no is not an act of defiance. It's an act of respect for your goals, for your family, for your health, for your vision. You're not closing the door. You're keeping the pathway clear for what matters most. It reminds me of the gardener who tends the roses. If every weed, every wild branch, every stray leaf gets equal attention, soon there's no garden left, just a tangled mess. But when you know which blooms matter, you prune the rest, and suddenly there's beauty. That's life. That's business. That's the art of guarding time. It's tempting to try to do it all. The truth is, trying to do it all is the fastest way to drop what matters most. I've watched people spin their wheels for years, busy every day, but moving nowhere. Activity is an accomplishment. You don't get a trophy for being exhausted at the end of the week. You get results by focusing on what counts and letting the rest wait its turn. So the challenge is simple, but not always easy. Define the essentials. Protect them like your most valuable asset, because they are. The world won't make it easy, but clarity has power. The minute you write down those top 3, you take back control. Suddenly you're playing offense, not defense. And that, my friends, is the beginning of order in the midst of chaos. Guarding your time isn't about shutting out the world. It's about opening the door wide for what matters most. And that's how you begin to move from scattered and busy to focused and effective, one essential at a time. And here's a little secret that most people overlook. If you want to guard your time, don't just schedule tasks, schedule thinking. Now, this may sound simple, but it's so rarely done. Most people spend their entire week reacting to phone calls, reacting to problems, reacting to whatever jumps in front of them next. But reaction is the opposite of creation. Creation starts with thinking. Have you noticed how rare it is to find even a few minutes of undisturbed thought in the average day? Most people are running from the minute their feet hit the floor to the minute their head hits the pillow. Life becomes a string of responses, not decisions. But if you want to move from chaos to order, you have to step back. You have to rise above the noise. That's where thinking time comes in. Schedule it. Set aside a few minutes every single week, maybe even every day, to sit quietly away from the demands of the world and simply think. Not worry, not stew, but plan. Reflect, evaluate. Ask yourself, how did the week go? What's working? What's not? Where am I headed? What adjustments do I need to make? It's amazing what a clear mind can do. One good idea born in quiet reflection can save hours, even days of confusion and wasted effort. Thinking time isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the difference between sailing with the wind and rowing against the current. When you take time to think, you're not wasting time. You're multiplying its value. Think about the last time you made a mistake simply because you rushed in without stopping to think. Maybe it was an email sent in frustration, a promise made in haste, a purchase you later regretted. Most regrets are born in moments when we skip thinking and jump straight to action. So, make it a habit. Put it on the calendar just like a meeting. Guard it fiercely. Turn off the phone, close the door, let the world wait. This is your time to look at the big picture, to connect the dots, to plan your moves before you make them. The world will try to convince you that you don't have time to think. The truth is, you can't afford not to. A clear mind can cut through confusion like a lighthouse through fog. When you give yourself permission to think, you find solutions others miss. You see opportunities others are too busy to notice. And most important, you prevent little problems from becoming big ones. I once knew a businessman who spent every Monday morning before the phone started ringing with a cup of coffee and a blank pad of paper. That was his thinking time. He'd reflect on the week that was, plan for the week ahead, and make a short list of what mattered most. It didn't take hours, sometimes just 15 or 20 minutes. But those minutes, week after week, made all the difference. While others were putting out fires, he was building a fireproof business. So ask yourself, where can you carve out just a few minutes to think? Early morning, lunch hour, the end of the day. It doesn't matter when, only that you do it. Because a mind without thinking time is like a ship without a rudder, always moving, never arriving. Schedule thinking time, reflect, plan, evaluate. Those few quiet minutes will return hours, days, even years to your life. And that, my friends, is one of the simplest ways to guard your time, even in the middle of chaos. Now, here is one of the most underrated tools in all of time management, the deadline. Now, most people think of deadlines as stress, something to dread, something that's forced on you by someone else. But let me flip that for you. A deadline is not your enemy. In fact, a deadline can be your greatest ally. A task without a deadline is like a ship without a port. It drifts, it circles. Sometimes it never arrives at all. You've seen it, I've seen it. You say you'll get around to it tomorrow, next week, when things slow down. But life never really slows down, does it? Days become weeks, weeks become months, and the important things get lost in the shuffle. But give that same task a clear, firm deadline, and suddenly it becomes real. It's not just an idea or a wish, it's a commitment. The mind sharpens, the focus tightens. A little pressure builds, and with that pressure comes action. That's the magic of a deadline. Now here's the best part. The deadline doesn't even have to come from the outside. You can set it yourself. Even artificial deadlines, ones you invent, can change the way you work. You decide. By Friday noon, this report is finished. By the end of the day, these calls are made. Watch how your energy rises to meet the challenge. It's like training a muscle. The first time you set a deadline, you might miss it. That's okay. What matters is the habit, the discipline of finishing what you start when you said you would finish it. Every time you do, your confidence grows. Your reputation grows. You start to trust yourself with bigger and bigger challenges. Think about it. How often have you finished a big project just before the due date? Why? Because the pressure of the deadline finally sharpened your focus and pushed you to completion. That same pressure, used intentionally, can become a powerful tool, not just for projects, but for life. Some people say, I don't like pressure. But let me ask you, what's the greater pressure? The short-term push of a deadline or the long-term pain of unfinished work? One is uncomfortable for a moment. The other lingers for weeks, months, even years. Better a little pressure now than regret later. Remember, the world rewards finishers, not starters. Anyone can start. It's the discipline to finish on time that sets you apart. So don't wait for someone else to set the mark. Do it yourself. Decide when, decide how, and then hold yourself to it. Deadlines give your work shape. They give your day structure. They guard your time because they force decisions. Should this task take all day, or can you finish it by lunch? When you work to a deadline, you work with purpose. So if you want to guard your time in a chaotic world, use deadlines as defense. Make them your partner, not your prison guard. Set them for yourself. Hold to them, even when no one's watching. The discipline you build will protect your time, your reputation, and your peace of mind. And soon, you'll find yourself accomplishing more, not by chance, but by choice. Let's face it, life is full of little things that have to get done. The emails, the quick calls, the errands. It's tempting to handle them as they come. One here, another there, scattered across your day. But here's the problem. Every interruption costs you more than just the minute it takes. It breaks your rhythm. It fragments your focus. It turns a productive day into a patchwork of half-finished moments. That's why one of the greatest tools for guarding your time is to bundle the busy work. Don't let every minor task have its own invitation into your schedule. Instead, gather them up, set aside a dedicated block, and handle them all at once. It's like running errands. If you're wise, you don't drive across town for a single item, come home, and go back out again. You make a list, map your route, and get it done in one go. The same principle works for your to-do list. Take a look at all the small tasks: replying to emails, making routine phone calls, paying bills. Instead of spreading them throughout the day, group them together. Give them a time slot, maybe at the end of your morning or right before lunch. Then power through them with focus and momentum. What happens when you do this? You create flow. Momentum builds. Your brain isn't constantly shifting gears, wondering what's next. Instead, you stay in the zone. You finish the busy work in a fraction of the time, and here's the key: you free up the rest of your day for what matters most. I remember early in my business career, I'd let little things pile up. They'd nibble away at my attention all day long. A call here, an invoice there, a message to return. By evening, I was tired, but somehow the important things still weren't done. Once I learned to batch these tasks, the difference was remarkable. Suddenly, I had real blocks of uninterrupted time for my big projects, my creative thinking, and my personal life. Busy work isn't the enemy. It's the way we let it invade our schedule that does the damage. When you scatter your attention, everything feels urgent. When you bundle, you take control. It's you saying, these tasks matter, but they don't deserve my best hours or my creative peak. And here's something else. When others see you setting boundaries around your time, they respect it. People will learn that you don't answer every email the moment it arrives. You call back when you're available, not at the whim of every ring or ping. It's not about being unavailable. It's about being intentional. So, the next time you look at your list and see a dozen small things vying for attention, resist the urge to scatter. Gather them up. Create a busy work bundle. And watch how much more you get done. Not just in the small things, but in the big things, too. Remember, interruptions multiply when they're allowed to roam free. When you corral them, you protect your energy. Momentum stays high. Focus stays sharp. And at the end of the day, you find yourself not just busy, but truly productive. Bundle the busy work. Give it a place. Then let the rest of your day belong to what matters most. Now, let's talk about one of the most sacred times of the day, the morning. I call it golden, because that's what it is. The early hours have a certain kind of magic, don't they? The world hasn't fully awakened. The noise is still quiet. Distractions are still asleep. And that, my friends, is the moment to protect like gold. The way you use your mornings often shapes the rest of your day. If you start off in a rush, scattered and reactive, you spend the whole day catching up. But if you begin with intention, with purpose, you set a tone that carries through every appointment, every conversation, every challenge. Here's what I discovered. Use the mornings for creation, not consumption. Don't begin with the news, the noise, or the latest drama on television. Don't let someone else's crisis become the first thing you put in your mind. Instead, use that precious time to create, to move forward on your most important work, your health, your learning, your goals. I learned early on that the mornings I guarded were the days I made real progress. If I opened the newspaper or flipped on the radio first thing, my mind was scattered before breakfast. But if I started by reading something uplifting, writing out my goals, or taking action on a project before the world could interrupt, those were the days I won. It's not about being rigid. It's about being protective. Once your morning is gone, you can't get it back. The phone starts ringing, the appointments stack up, and the urgent things crowd out the important. That's why I say protect your mornings like gold. Think of it like this. Imagine a bank deposits a precious sum into your account every sunrise, but only lets you use it before noon. Wouldn't you be careful with it? Wouldn't you make sure it went to the most valuable investments? That's your morning. Every single day. If you have to, get up just a bit earlier. Even 15 or 20 minutes can change the trajectory of your day. Spend that time in silence, in study, in planning, or in doing the work that matters most to you. Make it a ritual. Make it a habit. When you do, you'll be amazed at how much you can accomplish, even in the busiest seasons. And here's another secret. When you start your day strong, you build confidence. The first victory leads to the next. Instead of feeling behind, you feel ahead. That sense of momentum, that inner certainty, becomes a shield against chaos. No matter what comes later, you've already claimed a win. Don't hand your mornings to the world. Guard them. Use them for progress, not just process. Creation over consumption. Intention over reaction. That's how you make each day count, even when the schedule is packed. So the question is simple. How will you spend your next morning? Will you give it away, or will you invest it? The answer to that question might just change your entire week, your month, even your year. Protect the mornings. They're gold, and once spent, they're gone. One of the hardest lessons in life, and one of the most important, is learning how to guard your time with boundaries. Now, some people hear the word boundaries and think it sounds harsh or unfriendly. But that's not what boundaries are. Boundaries are simply self-respect in action. They're how you protect what's valuable, your energy, your priorities, your peace of mind. If you don't set boundaries for your time, someone else will set them for you. And here's the truth. Unscheduled people will fill your schedule if you let them. They'll hand you their emergencies, their to-do lists, their last-minute requests. Before you know it, your day belongs to everyone but you. It doesn't matter how organized your calendar is. If you're always saying yes to every request, you'll soon find yourself spread thin, exhausted, and resentful. That's not generosity. That's neglecting your own goals in the name of pleasing everyone else. So how do you start guarding your time with boundaries? It's simple, but it takes courage. Learn to say, I'm not available right now, not because you don't care, but because you do care about your own commitments, your own well-being, your own path. It's not rejection. It's not selfishness. It's making sure that what matters most to you gets the attention it deserves. There's a phrase I learned. If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. That's why boundaries are so essential. They're not walls. They're fences with gates. You decide when to open them and when to keep them closed. Think about how much time gets lost to unplanned interruptions. A quick chat that turns into an hour, a meeting that didn't need to happen, a request that should have been declined. Every yes is a no to something else. Every open gate is a closed one somewhere else. Choose wisely. When you start practicing boundaries, some people may push back. That's okay. The world is used to instant access, constant availability, but you teach people how to treat you by the standards you set. If you value your time, others will begin to value it too. Here's something to remember. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out. They're about keeping your best self in. When you honor your own limits, you show up better for others, more present, more energized, more effective. So don't be afraid to say, I'm not available right now. Let that be your way of honoring the commitments you've made to yourself and to those you love most. Protect your time with boundaries. Give yourself permission to prioritize what matters. You'll find that not only does your schedule become more manageable, but your stress goes down, your focus goes up, and your results multiply. All because you decided to guard your time, not with barbed wire, but with intention and respect. Remember, no one else will do this for you. It's your responsibility. Boundaries are how you make sure your life stays on track, no matter how chaotic things get outside the gate. Now I want to talk about something that quietly eats away at your time. Complexity. It's easy to let things pile up. Systems get cluttered, routines get tangled, and before you know it, you're spending more energy managing the mess than moving the mission forward. Complexity doesn't just slow you down, it steals your focus and drains your motivation. If you want to guard your time even when life is swirling around you, learn to simplify. Streamline your systems. Automate what you can. Remove what doesn't serve the essentials. Simplicity isn't laziness. Simplicity is clarity. It's discipline. It's multiplying your results by subtracting the unnecessary. Take a look at your daily routines. Are there steps that could be combined, delegated, or even eliminated altogether? So often, we cling to old habits just because they're familiar, not because they're effective. A good gardener prunes the dead branches, not out of cruelty, but to let new growth flourish. The same is true in business, relationships, and personal goals. If you want your best ideas to bloom, make room for them by trimming away the rest. I remember sitting down at my desk one day, staring at a mountain of paperwork and thinking, how did it get this complicated? The answer was simple. I hadn't made decisions. I hadn't set up systems. Every little thing was handled in a different way, every single time. That's a recipe for wasted hours and endless frustration. So I got to work simplifying files, checklists, even the way I answered the phone. The less I had to think about the routine, the more energy I had for the extraordinary. Technology can be a help here too if you use it wisely. Automate your bill paying. Set reminders for important tasks. Use a calendar that tells you where to be instead of relying on memory. Let the tools do the heavy lifting so you can use your mind for creativity and strategy, not just survival. But simplicity isn't just about systems and tools. It's about your commitments too. Are you saying yes to things that don't move you forward? Are you overcomplicating your days with obligations that aren't truly yours? Every commitment you make is a claim on your time. Be ruthless in your evaluation. If it doesn't serve your mission, your values, or your growth, it may be time to let it go. Here's something else to consider. A complicated life is rarely a fulfilling one. More moving parts means more can break down. Complexity breeds confusion. Clarity breeds results. So as you look for ways to multiply your achievements, start by simplifying your methods. You don't need 10 different notebooks, 6 different planners, or 3 calendars on the wall. You need one clear system you trust. You don't need to be everywhere at once. You need to be fully present where it matters most. So take a few minutes this week and ask yourself, where can I simplify? What's getting in the way of my best work? What can I automate, delegate, or eliminate? Every answer will free up a little more time, a little more energy, and a lot more focus for what truly matters. Simplicity is the friend of productivity. It's the secret to multiplying your results, even when everything around you is complex. Guard your time by keeping things simple, and watch how much more you're able to accomplish. Here's a habit that separates those who drift from those who steer. Review weekly. Adjust daily. Most people barrel through the week hoping things will work out. But if you want to guard your time, you have to become a student of your own schedule. That means you don't just set priorities and hope for the best. You keep score, you measure, and you adjust as you go. Let's start with the weekly review. Once a week, Sunday evening, Friday afternoon, or whenever you can find a moment of quiet, look back at how you used your time. Not to judge, but to learn. What moved you forward? What was wasted effort? What should get more time next week, and what should get less? If you're willing to be honest with yourself, you'll start to see the patterns, the wins and the losses. Those little insights, gathered week after week, become your best teachers. But don't stop there. Guarding your time isn't a set it and forget it process. Life changes. Priorities shift. Unexpected things show up. That's why it's just as important to adjust daily. Each morning, take a quick look at your plan. Are you on track? Does anything need to move? Has something urgent come up that needs your attention? Or are you just getting pulled by someone else's agenda? The secret is to keep your hands on the wheel, not just your eyes on the road. A small adjustment today can prevent a big regret tomorrow. Maybe you realize you spent too much time in meetings last week and not enough on creative work. Maybe you notice the busy work has crept back in, or a new opportunity deserves a place on your list. Don't wait until you're off course by a mile. Adjust daily. Think of it like a pilot flying across the country. No plane flies in a perfectly straight line. Winds push it off course. But the pilot checks the instruments and makes small corrections all along the way. That's how you land at your destination. That's how you guard your time. Sometimes people say, "But Jim, isn't that a lot of effort?" The answer is no. It's a lot more effort to stay lost. It's much easier to keep things on track than to recover from chaos. A few minutes of review, a moment of adjustment, and you buy back hours that might have been lost to drift and disorder. I learned early on that if I didn't schedule time for review, my weeks would blur together. Progress became luck instead of intention. But the moment I made it a habit, things changed. My work sharpened. My relationships improved. I could see not only where I was going, but how far I'd come. Don't just trust your memory. Write things down. Track your progress. Celebrate the wins. Learn from the losses, and always ask, what needs to change? This is how you stay in control, even when life gets chaotic. Guarding your time isn't about rigidity. It's about flexibility with purpose. Review weekly. Adjust daily. That's the discipline that keeps you moving forward, no matter what comes your way. You see, the real reward of guarding your time isn't just in the extra tasks you complete or the empty space you clear on your calendar. The true reward is the order you create in the middle of chaos. Because no matter how unpredictable the world may be, you always have the power to control the framework you operate in. People sometimes think that putting structure around their time will make life rigid, take away the freedom and spontaneity. But I've found just the opposite is true. Guarding your time with intention gives you more freedom. Freedom to choose what matters. Freedom to show up at your best. Freedom to move through your days with a sense of purpose, not panic. It's easy to feel like a victim of circumstance when life gets busy, when schedules collide, when demands come from every side. But you don't have to surrender to the chaos. You have the power to set priorities, to say yes with intention, to say no with respect, to carve out moments for thinking, for planning, for growth. Order doesn't come from outside, it comes from within. You build it, one decision at a time. Every time you choose to define the essentials, to schedule thinking time, to use deadlines, to bundle your busy work, to protect your mornings, to set boundaries, to simplify your systems, to review and adjust, you build a framework that stands strong, even when the winds of chaos blow hardest. Here's the secret. You don't have to control the world to control your results. You only have to control your response, your attitude, your habits. When your priorities, plans, and purpose align, chaos loses its grip. You may not eliminate every crisis or every surprise, but you'll be prepared for them. You'll respond instead of react. You'll stay calm when others are caught in the storm. People will notice the difference. They'll wonder how you get so much done, how you stay so focused, how you keep your peace when others lose theirs. The answer is simple. You made the decision to guard your time, and you built the discipline to keep that decision day after day. It's a responsibility, yes, but it's also a privilege to take the hours you've been given, no more, no less than anyone else, and turn them into something meaningful, something lasting. To use your time to build your dreams, strengthen your relationships, serve your community, and enjoy the journey. So as you leave here today, remember this. The world may be chaotic, but your framework doesn't have to be. Guard your time. Protect what matters. Simplify. Adjust. And above all, live each day with the kind of order that turns even the busiest season into a chapter of growth, not regret. You can't always control what happens around you, but you can always control what you do with your time. And when you do, you find that chaos fades, and what's left is a life built on purpose.